Welcome to Tips and Tricks with James at High Desert Home Center. What we're doing today is using this tear mender. This is an instant fabric and leather adhesive. Someone told me about this as an alternative to sewing. So when jeans have little issues, this one here is just starting to wear right there. There's a small wear, and there's really very few ways to patch that. And if you don't have a sewing machine with the right needle, going through these seams isn't going to work. And so I don't want to lose these jeans yet. The rest of them are in good repair. So I want to put a little patch in here. So taking some old jeans, cut up the leg, cut a little piece out of here, and now we're going to fix it with some tear mender. You want to kind of get these flat if you can. It's just for working it. But you have time to work it, which is nice. So the patch is just going to go on right about there. And I'll basically glue that into place. The first thing we do is put some tear mender down on the counter. Make sure your stuff is fresh. This will, once you open it up, it will solidify after several months. Not sure how many months. I know I've had it and done several repairs with one bottle over a couple months, but if you leave it in the cabinet for a year or two, you're probably not going to have any left. Even if it's older, if it's still liquid, you're fine. So all you do is put a little puddle there, take your finger and dab some on. If you overdo it, it will seep through the fabric, and so it'll start to show. It'll look dirty on one side if you do it that way. So I just put a little bit on one side of each of the surfaces that I'm going to do, spread it out. Doesn't have to be exact, and then I push it together where I want it. Once you get it where you want, apply some pressure. And it's stuck. And the reason they caught my attention, we were at a hardware show and they showed me this. They had a bunch of these little fabrics like this, and they had them all glued together in this big long strip, and they had me glue one like this. They showed me how to do it, had me glue one, and then they had me grab this and pull the whole strip, and I couldn't break it. Eventually I broke it, but it didn't break at this seam here. It just tore the fabric because I pulled hard enough to get it to break, but that's how strong this turns out. Now, if you didn't put too much in, you have no evidence of it on the other side. My mom used to do patches for me, and she would always just sew a patch on the outside, and then it looked like I was quilted up or whatever, and I hated it. This is a pretty clean patch. So now that you got the one side down, just add a little bit around. And the cleanup, don't worry about the cleanup either, it's pretty easy. So you add some more, and you can just do it little by little. Pull that back around, add some pressure. Gives you time to straighten this out. Now, I have a sewing machine, I never use it. For one, my mom taught me how to sew when I was a kid. Haven't done it really since. My wife doesn't like to sew, and we don't have the needles to go through these seams anyway. So it would be very difficult for us to get the sewing machine out and even try to attempt this patch. So we would just get rid of these jeans if it was up to us sewing. Pressure there. Add a little bit more here. Now cleanup. If you're worried about this cleanup, you just roll it. It kind of spreads around until you dry it up a little bit and it becomes a little ball. and it comes right off. You can use a paper towel or something to get it off your counter, but that's really the same thing. You just roll it until it, you know, if you get a lot on there, it takes a little bit, but you roll it around until it balls up, and then you just throw the balls away and you're good to go. So here's our patch on the inside, and on the outside, you can't even tell there's a patch. Not too bad. And it doesn't matter what color the patches are. I'm going to do this one too, but this is all going to be on the inside, so you won't be able to tell it's all patched up. I get jeans that wear here from having keys or phone or something in my pocket. It's starting to get thin, but it hasn't torn yet. So they look in pretty decent shape except for this one side. So I'll get a patch right about this size and glue it on the back side, maybe even glue it across this where it's really weak, and then it'll hold that all together and that won't wear anymore. If you like the torn look but you want to have something underneath, you can do that too. I've done that where I have a hole somewhere and I'll just patch it in. You'll see the hole, it'll fray, but you'll have that patch on the back side so you're not looking at your leg or whatever. You know, because after you're not a teenager, having torn jeans that show 75% of your leg and just have tattered stuff doesn't always look the greatest. Work kind of frowns upon it too. So there you go. Try out some tear mender. It makes anybody able to sew your stuff together. So I wanted to go ahead and show the results on this one. If you look really, really closely, you can see that there's a little bit of tear mender bleeding through. This fabric was pretty dang thin right here. So you can see the frays. If you move it, you can actually see where the patch is on the inside because the fabric is now thicker. But just did a patch right on the inside. And I should get more use out of these jeans without worrying about it tearing and showing my pocket or my leg or whatever. So there you go.